Heels, nails, blade, mascara. The HUNTRIX truly are icons. I've been absolutely obsessed with them lately, and honestly, maybe you have too. The movie was such a ride, and the reveal of Rumi actually being a demon, that was unexpected. And it got me thinking, what if the HUNTRIX walk the halls of Monster High? They've got the fashion, they've got the freaks, so let's buckle up our seatbelts because this video is going to be a fright fly. Hello fellow sea creatures, space creatures, or simply humans. I'm Nami, also known as the Jellyfish Jaws. Welcome back to my art channel. If you're into art challenges, storytime animation, or just enjoy hanging out while I draw, then be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. In today's videos, we're doing a spooky fabulous art challenge called Turning the HUNTRIX into Monster High characters. Now, I know, it's not October yet, but hey, what's the harm in starting the spooky season too soon? So, without further ado, let's head to the canvas and start sketching these freaky fabulous queens. First up, I'm going to be drawing is Rumi, our half-human, half-demon HUNTRIX. At first, I was just going to keep her as a demon, but that felt a little too obvious. I wanted a new challenge, so instead, I turned her into a siren. Now, you're probably wondering, why a siren? Simple, her voice. Rumi's voice is so strong and powerful, she could sell out stadium all on her own. Honestly, let's be real, if she had joined Guima's evil forces, the Hunmoon would have never been sealed. For her design, I added fins to her ears, then I kept her signature dragon braids because they're just too iconic to let go. The hardest part though was her outfit. At first, I wanted to create brand new outfits for each HUNTRIX members, but that idea was quickly dropped when I realized that designing clothing is not my strong point. Plus, changing their outfits too much might make them harder to recognize. So, instead, I stuck with her stage outfit. The white top and shorts she wore during This Is What It Sounds Like performance. When it comes to coloring, I gave her a light purple skin tone to complement her lavender hair. I also added her demon patterns and of course some blue scales to really sell that siren vibe. Picking the scale color was a whole different roller coaster though. I kept switching between dark purple and dark blue before finally setting on blue. And oh boy, the anatomy struggle was real though. Midway through, I realized her face proportion looks kind of like Megamind. That really bothered myself seeing it, so I had to rework it during coloring, which of course was such a pain. Her mouth also gave me grief. At one point, she kind of looked like a Roblox character. I erased, I redraw, erased again, then eventually just settled on a version that hopefully looks at least 0.001% better than before. Now that is done, for the background I kept it fun and scrapbook-like by exporting elements from Canva, like torn paper textures, notebook lines, and purple patterns. Canva is my go-to for background designs, details, since it has so many great elements to spice things up. Finally, I designed her Monster High logo. I drew her signature dragon braids, added her siren fins, slapped on some spooky cute text, and there she was, Rumi in her Monster High form. What do you guys think? Next up is Mira, HUNTRIX choreographer and Taltz member. For her monster type, I choose to make her a Gorgon. Now, hear me out. Gorgons are known for their piercing gaze and intimidating presence, which totally matches Mira's tough exterior. But beneath that, she has a softer, protective side, especially when it comes to her trio. Her problem child or black sheep energy fits the myths of Gorgons, since they're often portrayed as misunderstood beings. Plus, her sharp features just scream Gorgon vibes. For her design, I turned the ends of her long hair into snakes. Because Mira's hair is already so beautiful with those twin tails, it was so fun shaping the strands into subtle snake forms. As for her outfit, I gave her the HUNTRIX black leather look because, let's be real, they all looked amazing in that look, but Mira especially. It has that edgy cool energy that blends perfectly with Monster High's aesthetic. My only struggle was actually finding references for it. Most of her screen time in that outfit was in dim lighting, so I had to squint and guess some details. Then came the coloring part. I didn't change her skin tone, similar how to Deuce from Monster High doesn't have dramatically different skin compared to other students. I gave her a dark, dramatic makeup she wore in the black leather outfit. But I added a few Gorgon details such as snake scales on her foreheads, arms, and even her thighs, if you peek through her transparent leggings. For her eyes, I make them an extremely light shade because staring directly into them is basically forbidden. Finally, for the background, I used a similar style as Rumi, but swapped the color theme into magenta to fit Mira's vibe and hair. I added some text to polish it up and boom, this is Mira in her Monster High form. What do you think? And last but not least, we have Zoe, HUNTRIX's beloved maknae. Choosing monster type for Zoe was actually the hardest decision. At first, I thought about making her a fairy, or maybe even a sylph. But in the end, I settled on something that felt perfect, a nine-tailed fox. Why a nine-tailed fox? Why this decision? Well, because Zoe is playful, goofy, and full of energy. But she also has emotional depth. She's expressive, caring, and has that balance of a lighthearted fun and inner strength. That's exactly the kind of vibe a nine-tailed fox carries. Mystical, mischievous, and layered with meaning. As for her designs, of course I had to give her fox ears and nine tails. Honestly, drawing all nine tails was a challenge on its own. I kept losing track of whether I'd drawn 7, 8, or 9. The math was not mathing in this case. For her outfit, I choose her how it's done look. The top was pretty easy to draw, but those parachute pants? The pattern was way too complicated for my brain to process. So yes, I decided to simplify them for the sake of my sanity. Please don't come attack me for that. Moving on, the coloring part, I gave her a light tail skin tone, not for any deep lore reason, but just because I thought it looked nice and it gave her a unique vibe compared to her original design. For her tails and ears, I debated between adding pink or reddish tips, since that's how nine-tailed fox are often portrayed. But it seems to have clashed with her teal and yellow palette. So, at the end of the day, I went with teal tips since it worked really well. As for her makeup, I gave her a bright yellow makeup look to tie in with her pants, and added dark teal streaks on her cheek for a final touch. Moving on to the last section, which is the background and the logo, I kept the same style as Rumi and Mira for the background, but this time with a dark teal theme to match Zoe's palette. Finally, for her Monster High logo, I drew her fox ears and her space buns, since those are her most recognizable features. I added her name, slapped some tags, and boom! This is Zoe in her Monster High form, complete. What do you think? So, here are the divas in their Monster High form. Drum roll, please! I think I did a pretty good job in designing them, especially since it's quite hard to blend in my art style towards the Monster High art style. I also personally like all of them. I don't have any one of my favorites because I think that they're all unique in their own charm. How about you? Comment below which one do you like the most, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!